Hi, welcome to the final teaching for the year 2025. This is the Superb Community Monthly Teaching, and in the month of November, we are closing the curtains on our teachings for the year 2025. By way of reminder, we run our teachings for 10 months out of 12 months in the year. We begin from February and we wrap it up in November, leaving January and December to be months of retreats and planning for us as a team, for us as an organization, and also for those who belong to this beautiful movement. Again, let us start by saying thank you. Thank you for following through from the month of February till this month. It's been an awesome ride. It's been an awesome time with you all. We have beautiful evolutions coming to the organization in this new year. Talking about 2026, anyways, yeah, in the new year, talking about 2026, we have a new system, new structure for all of our activities as an organization. Stay tuned to see that. And now to the teaching. You see, one of the things we get to experience in life, dear listeners, dear viewers, is change. And change is the movement of a particular thing from one form to another, right? Change is the ability for something to move from a particular state of knowledge to another state of knowledge. We see change at most basic levels: liquid to gas, hot to cold, you name it, solid to molten form, tall to short, um, fresh looking skins to old and raggedy. Change occurs all over us. We see it every day. The green leaves going brown, the tarred roads eventually having some cracks and then leading to potholes. We see all of this. Bushes turning to estates for residents, forests becoming beautiful farmlands. Change is all we see around us. And the beautiful thing about this change is that change brings transformation. Even yourself, I mean, the person who your mother pushed at birth is not the person who is actually watching this video right now. The infant's appearance you are has gone through a process and series of changes. And again, it brings transformation. The baby, you could not be listening to me effectively and understanding what I'm saying right now. Why am I rambling around change? It's because change is the condiment, the necessary process for transformation. But here is the thing. When we look to nature, the system of change in nature seems to be organic, seems to take place without any influence, seems to just happen at the passing of time. We see the sun, we see the moon, the next morning, what we saw green yesterday is now yellow. And we keep having these experiences over and over again. And you see, that's the beauty in nature. And we often forget that that can only happen to things that are inanimate and not to things that are animate. All right, so what do I mean by that? You can't change the way nature changes. These things happen according to the order of life, but you are more involved in the order of life than the trees, than the forests, than the roads. You are more involved in the order of life. You are more involved in the order of life than things that are not able to exercise what I call the will, or as you often know, it's willpower. What I call the will. You are not like those things that lack willpower. The tree is found where it is planted. Wherever the seed germinates, that's where it will always be. It can never get tired of that position. It has no choice. It has no options. It is rooted in there. It has no ability to translocate and transport itself elsewhere. If there will be any movement whatsoever, something that has a will and can make a choice will be the one to help that without a choice. So nature changes right in its stead. But you, my dear listener, cannot change without making a move. And so as we discuss transformation by knowledge, I need you to first of all open your mind to the possibility, to the requirement of your involvement in your transformation. You see, you can listen to many things, you can learn many things, you can read many things, you can attend several conferences, seminars, workshops, you can be exposed to so much knowledge, but the ability for you to manifest what you've been exposed to is only possible with you actively inculcating these things you are being exposed to. So the thing is, many persons often think that because they are getting to know, because they are reading so many books, because they are attending several meetings, because they are seated and listening to the best of speakers, the choicest humans, the best in the field, because they are in the best of schools, they really think that they are being changed. But being in those places is just one step to your transformation. Being in those places is just one action in the entirety of all that is required of you to be transformed. And for you to be transformed, location is not as much important, especially in this age and time. Location is not as much important as is your involvement in imbibing what you're being exposed to. What do I mean? I necessarily don't need to be in the conferences and the meetings you have attended for me to know the things that you know. I can stream the very same experience via my phone, and I'll be better off than the person who sat in that room and just was there feeling the ambience and observing the aesthetics. Basically, you see, transformation is literally changing form. The word transformation is from the word transform, and to transform is to transfer the form. So to transform a thing to another thing is to bring the form of that other thing to this particular thing. So if I wanted to transform my looks, I would have a picture of what I want to look like, either expressly drawn out or imaginatively present, which are both valid. And I have these things at a conscious level, not at an unconscious level, at a fully conscious level, and begin to apply my actions, my skill, my everyday activity to arrive at that transformation. So what I was doing was not really changing myself to become something that was not existent. When it comes to transformation, we have an existent perspective that we seek to make manifest upon us. Why did I go through all of this? I'll tell you. You need to understand that the difference between where you are and where you want to be is how you apply the knowledge. Yes, the difference between you currently and the you that you hope to become is the amount of conscious effort you put into it. And in applying effort, many things determine whether the effort we put into a thing is going to yield results or not. Take, for instance, if I want to sweep a room, as much as there is a broom present, there is the room and there is dirt to be swept. How I sweep the room determines whether the room will be cleaned up or whether the room will further be messy. So if I want to sweep a room and I just take the brooms, let's take for instance the typical local brooms in Nigeria, and I start circling and circling and circling and circling round and circling round and creating lines in the sand, I did not successfully remove the sand. All I did was to disperse it much more and make for the dust to spread in most probably areas that it had never gotten to. However, if I began from a particular point and began to gather everything either to the center or to another point towards the entrance, depending on how you want to do it, I will successfully pull together all the dirt. So effort that I use to circle and circle and circle round is effort. But it was effort that only yielded further dirt. It was effort that only yielded problems. It was effort that did not get me to where I wanted to be, which was a clean room. This is the same thing when it comes to character formation. It's okay for you to say you want to become a better person. It's okay for you to attend meetings, read books on it. But how do you apply it? And more often than not, we are caught up in a system that teaches people what, but never effectively teach how. And this video is to tell you that the actuality of your transformation is hinged on the how to what you want to do more than the knowledge of the what exactly you want to do. So you need a kind of knowledge that is just deeper than awareness, because when you are aware of something, you know what it is. But when you know how that thing is, you are able to bring a replication of that thing into your life or manifest it outwardly. You are never graduated from a program, from a course of study, from school especially the university. Well, for other institutions, you're graduated from the standpoint of knowledge, but for specific courses in universities, right, in college, you're not graduated because you know what it is. You are graduated from those institutions because you can now be trusted to do what those things are supposed to be in real life. So this is why afterwards they are not scared of employing you in on a job, because they believe that your training has not just given you what it is, the information, the theories, but you also have practicals. Well, we know what Nigeria is, so don't flood the country. Yeah, pray for Nigeria. Now let's get back to the teaching. Okay, so yeah, all things being equal, if I can use that, right? The higher institutions are supposed to produce the what and the how in a person, and that is how you get transformed. It is why somebody who entered in at the age of 18, at the age of 17 to study medicine does not leave the same way they came in at 17. After a period of a number of years spent, they come out as medical doctors. At the time they entered, they were not medical doctors, but at the time they entered, they had an idea, they had a concept, they had a form in the what of what medical doctors to them at that level meant. And as they studied, as they grew, as they went through classes, went through practicals, and all of the things they had to do, they began to experience what I call transformation. So within all of this, plenty things I've been saying, where I'm headed is transformation by knowledge is only possible on what and how. So you can't know how without knowing what. So this is the thing. You get to know what, but you don't stop there. Oh, I want to quit this. I want to stop doing this. Oh, what if you say you want to stop doing this? What do you want to do? I want to do A, B, C, and D. Oh, that's beautiful. And people applaud your seriousness. How do you want to do it? Have you asked yourself how? Because you can actually read a book for what, and then you have to go find another to read for how. Yeah. Information is awareness. How is understanding of what you came into awareness. So when you understand it, you can replicate it. You eat because you already know how to eat. You eat because unconsciously you were taught, but it has become part of your consciousness that you know how to carry the spoon. You may not remember the first day they fixed the spoon in your hand and taught you how to scoop food. Much of those learnings were even things that happened to you by observation. You saw your parents eating it that way, you saw them feeding you, and as a baby, if you've ever been with babies, they always want to try to do the same thing. That is learning. That is knowing the how to do it. That is the knowing of the how. So yes, how do you get to know the how? And it's quite funny because it's the same process to knowing the what that you use to knowing the how. But let me leave you with three things when it comes to knowing the how. First things first, go for knowledge. Study. Go for knowledge. Study. So when you wanted to know what about something, you read, you go and you pick up these things and you find out, oh, what does this entail, what does that entail, what does this entail, what does that entail. Beautiful information. But when you want to know the how, it's more detailed, it's step by step, is procedural. Go for the knowledge of how to do this and this. So let's say you want to become a better reader. Now you've maybe known all the benefits of reading, and you've seen that, oh, you've been taught and you've been told, you've attended meetings, you've listened, oh, what reading can do to your life. Super beautiful. Now, how do you read? Because the person who is teaching you is speaking from their own perspective. How do you read? So one of the things you will do when it comes to how do you read is you find out. Because remember, you were not reading before, so you not just take it and start reading the books. It will be a problem because they did not just read and became like that. There's a how they read that made them arrive at that point. So for you, how do you read? That's something you have to literally sit with. So how do you find out the how to reading? Is by asking them, how did they do it? For me, when I was going to improve, I asked a couple of friends, and some of them said, oh, I read for 8 hours. I remember meeting a man who told me he could sit down for 12 hours non-stop. And I asked him, what were the things he did? He told me the things he put away. He told me where he went to. He told me how and what time. He told me that he had to observe when his brain is most active in a day, and then he began to structure his studies timetable around that. Then when I took up that, it was the same thing. I discovered, oh, I was more active at night than I was during the day. During the day, I could do many physical work and all of that, but at night, my mind is more collected and I could read. So I started structuring my study time to night periods and my daytime to doing my work. So I would start off my day with work, eat, rest, and study at night. That was what I did as a student, and it worked for me. It wasn't the same for a friend of mine, because for the friend of mine, he had more activities during the night, or during the evenings rather, and then he had to do his reading during the day, do his activities during the evenings, and at night for him it was sleep. All right. These structures vary, but it came from me knowing someone else's how. And that's knowledge. Knowing knowledge. Go for knowledge. Ask for how. Ask. Yeah. Ask. Somebody tells you, oh, I did this. How to make so and so money in this. Don't do, oh, wow, beautiful, and then get excited about the benefits. No, no, no. The benefits are good, but how do I get the benefits? Because this is also going to save you even when you when it comes to financial investment and you investing yourself or time in or resources into any other thing. How? Break it down to me, and until you have understanding, until you can get what they are trying to say, not what you think they are saying, what they are actually saying. Until you get it, you don't yet know how. You don't yet know how. So pay attention to details is one of the things in this particular phase of knowledge. You need to be very detailed. When it comes to knowing how to change a thing, when it comes to knowing how to transform yourself, character, skill, personality, recovering from addiction, when it comes to knowing how, pay attention to the detail. That's the first thing. Go for knowledge. And in going for knowledge, pay attention to the detail. Number 2 is testing. You see, one of the things that we are losing fast in this fast-paced world is our ability to experiment things. And in experimenting, you go through multiple trials. Yes, you go through multiple trials. Many scientists, many innovators, those who have discovered noteworthy things can tell you for free that they actually went through multiple levels of experiments before they arrived at that very beautiful thing that when we replicate, we get it once. They went through several processes, several trials, the same thing, testing the same thing with different methods. So what am I saying? I'm saying test everything you come to know when it comes to how. So if someone tells you, oh, I read for 8 hours, test it. Try reading for 8 hours. Follow their how. If they say, oh, I began doing 30 minutes, then I increased it, replicate it, test it, and be open to doing the experiment with your uniqueness. What do I mean? So someone can tell you, I did 30 minutes for 1 week, and after 1 week, I could do 2 hours. You could do 30 minutes, and then maybe you're feeling confident, right? And which some people tend to discard and say it's not good to feel overconfident. It's not overconfidence, it's confidence. You were not confident before. You got to a level where you began to be sure of yourself. Oh, I did 30 minutes for 3 days, and you feel I could shoot 1 hour. That thought is an idea, an imagination that is seeking a process of transferring its form into your current reality. Transformation. So yes, test it. Try going for 1 hour, and then if you don't make it, maybe you fall back to, oh, this person said 30 minutes for 1 week, and then you go again 30 minutes. Who knows? You can go for the 1 hour, and the person did 30 minutes for 1 week. You do 30 minutes 3 days, and then you skyrocket into 1 hour, and from there you can go into 5 hours. You really don't know how your own how will manifest. That's where I'm trying to go to. If you don't apply yourself to experiments, if you don't apply yourself to testing, so please, by all means, experiment, test things, and in this process, in testing, what you will need to be very, 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 you can see I stressed on it, very, very, very keen on is graciousness. You need to understand that you do not know how, and what you're doing is knowing how. So for every time you do not get it, you don't condemn yourself. You don't speak bad about yourself. You don't speak against yourself. You don't demoralize yourself. You don't discourage yourself. You encourage yourself. You pat yourself on the back. I didn't get it. I'll go again until I get it. I'm not quitting. You motivate yourself. You keep yourself going. You need to be gracious. You forgive yourself. Let it be that you are repeating the same mistake over and again. You never knew how. And for so long, you have been doing what you knew till you encounter this knowledge. So that timeline is all gone. That timeline, you want to remove it and you want to become a different person. You should give yourself almost the same time it took you to run and rumble in the things you're trying to train from into the things you're trying to become. Yes. Give yourself about the same time. So, oh, you've been doing something for the past 5 years. Be gracious to yourself. Give yourself 5 years to try and become the new thing. Yes. Give yourself the same. Just replicate the same patience. You did that one unconsciously. Now deliberately give yourself that. The beauty of this is that in graciousness, you arrive faster than you imagined. In being gracious, you arrive faster than you imagined. So, dear listener, be gracious to yourself as you go on experimenting. The final thing is repetition. Repetition. And you see, this is one aspect that we are missing in our time. See, repetition is a very, very, very good tool. Doing one thing over and again. So yes, after you've gotten that transformation, after you've arrived, after you finally been able to replicate that behavior, you've finally been able to keep a consistency of 4 days, 5 days, 24 hours, 5 months. Keep doing it. Don't say, oh, now I'm now a master at this, and then you disengage the behavior. No, keep doing it. So think about it as you give yourself 5 years to learn. Remember, I said the graciousness is giving yourself the same time it took you to be doing the previous one. Not it took you to learn. It took you to be doing the previous one. Give yourself that timeline to learn the new one. Please know the difference. The previous timeline you're going to be using in your gracious state is the timeline it took you to behave in that way. You're going to be putting it as the timeline for learning. Now, the truth is you would learn faster and you would have gotten the behavior inside of you. Your transformation will not take you about that time, in all honesty. So what you do with the rest of the time is consistently repeating the same thing. So repetitions, 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 repeat, rinse, repeat, duplicate that over and again. So you read for this number of hours now as a student, and then you've been able to do that, and then you saw that, oh, my 100 level results were good. Do the same thing again for 200 level. Let's have the same results for 200 level. Let's have the same results for 300 level. Let's have the same results for final year. Let's keep repeating. What repetition does is the same effect blade has on a pencil. I'll repeat it. What repetition does to you, to me, is the same effect blade has on a pencil. The more there is repetition of the strokes of the blade around the pencil, the sharper the pencil becomes. Yes, I think someone got it right now. So the more you repeat, the sharper and more effective you become in that thing. The more mastery you've gained. Mastery is hinged majorly, or will I say a large percentage, or a wholesome percentage of mastery is on repetition. And you would want to be repeating things. You will really want to repeat it. All right, guys. So to bring this to a summary, it is not difficult for people to change. People can change. You can change. I don't know who will be watching this, but you can change. You can become better at anything. You can become different from what you used to be. You can exercise yourself to be something else. But then, one of the things you need to know is the how to things. There is a how to everything. The how to things. This is not the totality of transformation by knowledge. There's so much more to learn. But I want to leave you with these three, and I want to wish you well, even as you conclude the year 2025. This is the final teaching for the year. God bless you. Thank you for following us. I'm Famous for Chijoke. Bye-bye.